Hi everybody, I'm Jordan Rolfus from Beagle Rampant Productions, and if you guys have been following this channel, which you should because it's a good thing to do and I can guarantee you some happiness there, so go ahead, click that subscribe button of course. But if you guys have been following this channel, you'll know that I am a huge Metroid fan. So you can imagine when I heard at that E3 announcement that there was going to be a brand new Metroid game for the 3DS. I was absolutely stoked. It had been so long since Other M, and finally, a brand new Metroid game for the 3DS. I was absolutely stoked. So that Christmas morning, I unwrap this fiasco. Yeah, I'll admit, Federation Force, there are things about this that I like, but there is a lot more about it that I really don't like. All of the escort missions and my weight limits, because you gotta have your weight limits. Nothing screams Metroid like a big arbitrary weight limit. Yeah, this is a travesty. I haven't finished it yet, and to be honest, I don't really want to. I'll pick that up later. So, after that, I kind of was thinking that the series maybe was in a bad place and that maybe we weren't going to get an actually good Metroid game. But then this year at E3, Nintendo announced a remake of Metroid 2 for the Nintendo 3DS. And I gotta say, this one right here, Metroid Samus Returns, this is a masterpiece. It is really, really good. When I heard the announcement at E3 that they were doing this and Metroid Prime 4, I was really stoked. I was starting to think, oh, Nintendo really is coming around, and they announced a lot of other really great titles coming up in the future, so Nintendo is starting to get their groove back. And of course, I've mentioned on this channel before, in the Metroid FDS versus NES video, my first of the Romance Month series, I mentioned that Metroid 2 on the Game Boy was the first Metroid game I've ever played. I played it on an airplane, heading to Las Vegas, you know, back in the days when kids were encouraged to go to Vegas for reasons, I guess. But yeah, it's not a family town, and it will never be a family town, but at least they're honest now. Anyway, back to Metroid. I was playing Metroid, and my sister was playing a puzzle game. It was either Tetris or Dr. Mario or something, and we look over at each other's Game Boys, and we're like, you want to switch? And we're like, totally. So we go ahead and switch, and while the Game Boy Metroid game certainly isn't my favorite, there's a lot that I really, really love about it, but this installment here for the Nintendo 3DS, the remake, is absolutely wonderful. It has the perfect atmosphere, and the graphics are just so really well fleshed out and completed now. It's so interesting nowadays when you play like a remake of a game that you enjoyed when you were younger. I don't know if it was my imagination was so much better back in the old days. There has to be something that would be said for my lack of imagination. The guy who jumps on YouTube 7 years too late, but I don't know if my imagination was better, and I just thought of things a little bit differently than I do now. I was more creative back then, or the low-resolution graphics on the Game Boy as opposed to the modern 3DS, or if it was a combination, but I thought everything was just a little bit different from what it was actually supposed to be looking like. So these modern fleshed out graphics really give a better definition of the entire planet. The controls are still really spot on, although I'm getting the melee attack button confused with the fire button, so that's a bit of a hiccup for me, but at least with the melee attack button, when I heard this announcement on the E3 press conference, I was a little worried about it because all that extra melee combat-y stuff they did in Other M, that didn't really digest too well with me, but this works really beautifully, and if you miss, it's not the end of the world. You can still go ahead and take care of the bad guys. It just really helps you get an upper hand if you go ahead and successfully execute these melee attacks. I love the spider ball. In fact, some things really never change. As a kid, I would just sort of explore the entire planet with the spider ball going up and around and all over the place, and notice I'm still really doing that here, and that's really fun. It's just fun to go around in spider ball and lay your little bombs, and yeah, it's good stuff, you know? But let's see, what else have I been talking about? You can tell I really scripted and rehearsed this, and I'm too lazy to do any editing. I wanted to get this video out real quickly. What else have we got? We got the spider ball, we got the power beam. I really like how the power beam is actually kind of useful in this game. Usually when I get a better beam, I just sort of ignore the power beam altogether because I think, okay, and in the original Game Boy game, once you get another beam, it overrides the power beam. But here, the power beam is definitely more effective than the ice beam. I mean, these are still my first impressions. I'm not very far in the game at the moment, but I love how the ice beam will freeze the enemy, and that's fine. But if you want to actually destroy an enemy with the ice beam, it's going to take a minute, and it won't be a very happy experience. So it's better to just freeze the enemy and then defeat them with the power beam. And I love how they actually made your first weapon still kind of good. That's a really interesting dynamic. The music is spot on. Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano, they always do everything pretty much perfectly, so not a whole lot to say there. It's a masterpiece, and that's just the way of it. 2 and 2 make 4. They make masterful music, so that's a solid point there. Let's see, what else? I have, again, these are my first impressions. I think it's a masterpiece. It's wonderful. The special abilities, the Aeon abilities, I only have the first one, the Scam Pulse or whatever it is, and I'm noticing again, I'm getting my buttons mixed up, and that's probably my only real criticism of this game so far, is the controls. I'm getting my buttons confused, and I'm sure when I get some better Aeon abilities a little bit later on, it'll be a little more useful if I mess up, because there's a bit of a charge, there's quite a bit of a delay and a bit of a build-up there before you actually launch your Aeon abilities, so yeah, it's been getting in the way as I'm trying to fight some of the bad guys here, but ultimately I think once I get some of the better stuff, like the lightning armor, oh, that'll be good. The beam burst, the phase drift, they mention it on the back of the cartridge here. So, yeah, Metroid Samus Returns, a remake of the wonderful, wonderful Game Boy title. And again, the Game Boy title isn't even my favorite. It feels a little linear, and you get lost a little too easily, which is fine in a Metroid game. I actually love the getting lost and the wandering around, but I feel like in the Game Boy game, nothing was really differentiated, and I feel like I really couldn't make any progress at all. I was constantly going back to the same room, but this version has a wonderful map system, and it lets you know how many Metroids you're defeating, and it really does a good job of keeping you in the loop and letting you know what's going on. So it enhances almost every single thing about the Game Boy game, which was a really good game to begin with, just never really my favoritist of the favorite Metroid titles. So I have to recommend, go out, buy Metroid Samus Returns for the Nintendo 3DS. Don't be an idiot like me and buy it at GameStop, because gamers, what are we doing? Why are we buying stuff at GameStop? You know, they mess around with the pre-orders, they encourage you to pre-order, but the amiibos in particular, I had to use my own amiibos, which unlock some reserve energy and missile tanks. I have the amiibos from the Smash Brothers game. I couldn't get the amiibos made for this game because apparently they were taking pre-orders. Problem is, they never actually told me at GameStop they were taking pre-orders. It's like, what's going on? You encourage pre-orders, but you don't take them all of the time, and then when I go in to buy the thing because you said you weren't doing the pre-orders, all of a sudden you were taking pre-orders, or sometimes the pre-orders just get completely sold out, like anyone who was dumb enough to think they could pre-order a SNES Classic Edition. Silly me, I should have known the stack was decked against me there, but I want to keep this review really positive because this is a good game. Run out, buy this. Metroid Samus Returns for the Nintendo 3DS. It's a masterpiece. You're going to love it. It's a must-buy if you are a Metroid fan. And if you are a fan of action platformers, definitely go ahead and buy this. Even if you don't know what Metroid is, you don't know what Metroid's about, go ahead, buy this game. You are absolutely going to love it. It's a masterpiece. It's what we've been waiting for so long, and it's restoring a lot of my faith in Nintendo. It really is. I've been getting kind of concerned with those Wii U days, but I think we're starting maybe to get in a good place. Just remember Reggie and Kimishima and Shigeru. Just remember, please stock your stuff, because we want it. It's good. I like it. And just a little quick channel update here. You are definitely going to want to click that subscribe button. I know half of the time whenever I say that, it's just sort of like empty nonsense, like, go ahead, click the subscribe button. And a lot of it is just me getting tired of working so hard on these videos and only seeing less than 30 subscribers. But I am going to have a Metroid project that I will announce first here on YouTube. I can't guarantee how long this project will last. It's in development. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to complete it. But if I am able to complete it and get it out there and everything, it might not last too long. So yeah, you're definitely going to want to click the subscribe button because I'm going to announce it here first. It's going to be big, it's going to be epic, you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button. Because, yeah, every other time I say that, yeah, there's no actual oomph behind the promise or the request, but I got some oomph here. Whew. Boy, do I got some oomph behind this. You're going to want to hit that subscribe button. And of course, we have the Halloween month coming up. I have some Halloween things. I notice I've been posting videos almost like every week at this point. That's not usually how I work, and it's probably going to stop with this video. I need to get the Halloween stuff taken care of. Moving the studio has not been going so beautifully as you've seen, and I've got to say, yeah, this has just been one of the worst years of my entire life. I'm just glad I had Metroid to help get me through this. It had to come out in September, of course, but Samus is definitely helping me bridge the gap here, and this has been some dark times. But, you know, I've been through darker, and the good Lord's gotten me through that, and He'll get me through this as well. So, yeah, Halloween's coming up. We're going to have some Halloween content on this channel. And Romance Month is coming up, a thing that I'm trying to do like PBG Zelda Month, but of course, my thing isn't as good, but hey, you know, Romance Month, come on. Go ahead, click the subscribe button, and a big Metroid project that I'm working on, a little fan project. I know how Nintendo is with fan projects, so you're going to want to subscribe before Nintendo takes it down. They probably want to take it down already, and they don't even know what it is I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I love Metroid, and I'm encouraging people to buy Metroid. And there is nothing about my project that will interfere with your market shares, Nintendo. All I'm saying is everybody should go out and buy as much official Metroid merchandise as they humanly can. So, yeah. Other housekeeping things? You guys are the best fans in the entire world. I love you guys. No YouTuber can ask for better fans than me. Wow. That sentence got away from me. But no, I have the best fans of any YouTuber in the entire world. You guys really are the best, and you guys are so passionate with your fandom. Yeah, my numbers are few. Tell your friends to go ahead and click that subscribe button, because my numbers are few, but you guys are so passionate. The love and the happiness that this channel seems to bring you, it really means a lot to me, and I'm just glad I can sort of give you guys a sense of inspiration and love and joy and all that good stuff. But deep down, that's all I really wanted to be, was just reflect some good love, happiness, compassion, and joy, and to inspire some people. And it seems like I'm doing that with my amazing fans, and I can't thank you enough for that. Well, until then, I'm Jordan Rolfus. Buy Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. You are going to absolutely love it. And I will catch you guys with some Halloween stuff in a little bit.